Yeah. Hello everybody. Welcome back. I'm the Missing Sock. Welcome back for more Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. So today we're going to do a little bit of a rundown on the Duke O'Death, which is probably the best armored car in the game now. But I would say it's not necessarily a clear winner. There isn't necessarily a clear winner in the armored cars, probably the way Rockstar wants it, so that you want to buy more than just the one. But we'll give a little rundown of them all while we're in here, before we get started. Yeah. Alright everybody, so we've got our Armored Kuruma here on our business floor, and we've got our V12 Shafter armored, and we've got our Duke O'Death, and we've got our Insurgent over there too. Alright, so to get these two out of the way with, the V12 Shafter is still the fastest armored car in the game. So it is still the fastest car that's armored that you can get, and it holds 4 people. That's our first car, so I still like it. Yeah, still a nice car. It can take 1 RPG hit, and the second one will destroy you, so watch out for that second one. So it gives you a second chance, and it has damage resistant, bullet resistant windows, so it can take about a half clip before they'll start getting through to you, or about 3 sniper rounds or so it depends on the weapon. But either way, a little bit of protection as long as you don't fire from the inside, destroying your windows from the inside out. Okay, but otherwise it is the fastest armored car, and that's pretty much all it has. It's its main claim to fame these days. Alright, and then over here with the Insurgent, I would say the best off-roading truck armored car with damage-resistant windows would be the Insurgent. And to me, it's just my opinion, but I think this is the best, still the strongest vehicle for I guess you could say, bulldozing your way around, off-roading or crashing through other cars. Alright. Now going back to our two main here, we've got the the Armored Kuruma, and the Armored Duke O'Death. Alright, the brand new one. Okay, so this one, the Armored Kuruma, is just a little bit cheaper than the Duke O'Death. $665,000 for that one. So this is just $160,000. I think it's around $500,000 for these ones. Okay, so yeah. So they seat 4. So the Kuruma, basically, we'll just get the Kuruma out of the way with. So what is the advantages and disadvantages of the Kuruma? Well, for starters, I would say that this one is 100% bulletproof. So that's its main advantage. So out of all these cars, the only one that's 100% bulletproof is actually, in my opinion, still the Kuruma. Okay? The Duke O'Death is bulletproof, but it has these little slats in the front. As you can see, this little tiny little slat right there. I'll show you the side, and the big one there in the front. So that one right there, and the bigger one right there that you can be shot through. So from here, and I've actually been shot from the corner. I think it was just a lucky shotgun blast, but you really have to watch people attacking you from here all the way around to there, to the corner back here. So you really have to watch that. Okay? But that said, it's still a hard spot to hit you, but they do sometimes do some damage through there. I find a lot more often than in the Kuruma over here. Now the Kuruma is 100% bulletproof, which is really nice. Although when you do load up it in a lot of missions and heists, it seems like these back windows right there disappear. And I think that's the way Rockstar intended it. I think they kind of do that to reduce the overpoweredness, I guess, of it. So a while back they made it that way. I've noticed that for a long time. A lot of missions you'll load up and those back windows will be gone. And you'll have to watch out for guys coming around here behind you or sneaking up on you or from the side, so they can shoot you from here all the way over to here. Okay? So it's kind of a different direction than the Duke. So for the Kuruma, you have to watch out from the back. Okay, and the Kuruma in some ways has got some interesting features. It's pretty much a 4-wheel drive car, so it's got an all-wheel drive going that works well. And it seats 4, as we were saying, so your whole company can sit in there. So you have the whole 4 people of in your organization, which is kind of nice, or in the heist. Whereas the Duke O'Death can only seat 2. Okay, so that's kind of a downside that way. And you can actually shoot at the back window of the Kuruma, whereas in the Duke O'Death you cannot. So it actually has a pretty small arc. If you're actually in first person, you can only shoot out this little slat here, so it gives you a very tiny little shooting arc that maybe we'll look at in a few moments. And as well, you have to, you generally shoot at these slats all the way around. So I feel like it generally doesn't have as good of a firing arc as the Kuruma does, with all its windows all the way around. Alright, so why isn't the Kuruma the winner? Well, because the Kuruma unfortunately has no real explosive damage resistance. Okay, so it's 100% bulletproof, which is really nice, as long as those back windows are still there and you're not in one of those missions, as I was saying. But otherwise, it's really nice that way. But it can't take any RPG hit. So one single RPG hit and it's gone. And you're dead with it. You don't even get a second chance, like you do with the V12 Shafter there. Okay, now getting to the damage of the Duke O'Death. And I think I'll put a link to a video Mr. Boss of the Wind shows actually breakdown of the damage and does a pretty good job of showing it. And it just takes a little bit of time to show you all that, so I'll just give you the gist of it. Basically, this card's kind of funny. So basically it'll take one RPG and the second one will destroy it, much like our other one there. But strangely, if you get inside it, it takes an extra RPG, so it'll actually take 2 RPGs and the third one will destroy you. So it's kind of funny that way. If you're inside it, it actually seems to have better and stronger damage resistance, which is interesting. Moving up, it continues up all the way with weapons on the damage. So when you get all the way up to the homing launchers, the homing missiles, like on the buzzards or the ones you can buy in ammunition that are kind of expensive, and the ones on the Ruiner 2000 that can also fire, right? When it comes to those kinds of homing rockets that you can use on them, this one basically takes 5, and if you're inside of it, it'll take 9, which is like just crazy. It's wow. It's definitely the most damage that any of these can take. So 9 of those before it'll explode, which is just crazy. So to give you an idea, like if somebody in the Ruiner 2000, if they're in free roam, the Ruiner 2000 has only 8 rockets, not infinite, and you have to go back and reload it or park it and come back out again before you can have more. So if you were in your Ruiner 2000 and you ran down a guy with this and you hit them with all 8 shots perfectly, it still wouldn't be enough to destroy them while they're in it. You'd still need a little bit more for it to actually blow them up, which is just kind of crazy. Yeah, and the buzzard would have to do 9 hits with it. It's just, yeah, very strong that way. So it's hard to say if it'll stay like that, but I think so, because the game's, this card's been in the game for actually a while, as part of the single player for the returning players, so for the enhanced edition. So it's not a new card per se, it's just new to online. So I don't know if Rockstar will be making any changes. They've certainly had plenty of time to get it ready. If they were going to make any changes, you'd think they would have already. So yeah. So I don't think, so going back to all of these, I don't think there's necessarily a clear winner. It depends on your purposes. I think Rockstar wants it so that you buy them all. And I would say in certain ways the Kuruma is the winner to me for fighting in missions, like say heists and using organizations and against computer AI players and things like that. But if you're looking for one that's best against players, that would probably certainly be the Duke O'Death right there. And if I had to pick one out of all of these, I'd probably pick the Duke O'Death. But I might be biased because I really like the Dukes, and it's a nice vehicle, and it's mean looking. It's my style. Yeah. So, and it's a new one too, I guess. So I'm not sure if that affects me, but I'm definitely biased that way. But I'd probably pick this one as the best. That said, like I said, there's no real clear winner necessarily at this time, as far as I know. All right, so let's go put in some action. Yeah. All right, so we're just sitting here in our Duke O'Death here, and I was just going to show you those firing arcs. So hopefully you guys can see my little pointer here. Oh yeah, another little feature. It's got these bright lights, very bright. It's nice when they actually work. Some cars they don't. Now we'll go back to that firing arc. So hopefully you guys can see my little shooter there in white. Came in here for just a little darkness here so you guys can hopefully see it. Right? Now, as I move around, you'll see it fade out. If you can't really see it very well on your screen, it's because it's faded out. And that means that we can't shoot around this area, so we can't even shoot behind us. Compared to the Kuruma, it's got a whole blind spot. Now, mind you, you're protected completely from this back, but at the same time, you can't shoot and retaliate either. And if we come all the way around here, you can start to use your arc again. So generally speaking, the Duke O'Death, you have to shoot from here to there. So you'll see it fade out right around here. So you get a little bit of a range on the right side, it seems, as the driver. There it is, back out again. And if we turn left, yeah, you can get, where is it? Sometimes it takes them a moment to pull it back out again. Yeah, so not even, so right around here is about as far over left as I can get. So straight out left, and you can't actually do that. Which is funny. Yeah, right from here. Which is very different. So even if we go to other weapons, like, oh, I don't know, let's try just a regular combat pistol. It's generally about the same thing. Yeah, you can't actually see there. So it's pretty good. It's definitely a very powerful vehicle, but it actually has a very limited firing range. It's generally right around here is about the only places you can shoot. And why does that even matter? Well, it's limited, right, compared to the Kuruma and stuff. But the other reason why that matters is because that is your worst place to be shooting that from, right? Because this is where they can hit you. So It's unfortunate that this is your firing arc is generally where they can hit you from. Whereas in the Kuruma, you can, as I was saying, in the Kuruma, those back windows are sometimes gone in certain missions at the back that they can shoot you through. But as long as you keep the car facing your enemies, you're generally safe, and they're generally getting shot at by you. Yeah. And again, where I'm mainly talking about AI opponents, not players. Against players, this is a tough vehicle that you may want to go with this instead of the Kuruma. But that's the firing arc on the Duke O'Death.
What's shaking?
Here we go. Yeah. Oh, I was hoping I could rail along the top there. Alright, here we go. So I got our AP pistol ready. And I'll show you guys the first person mode here. So, see, I can only... so we think that other firing arc was bad. This is even worse. You can't even shoot out of your right slot there. You can only shoot out of this little... Terrible. So, don't use first person with this vehicle. Now, if I come at them from behind, all these guys are going to open up and steal the Titan mission here. See, they're hitting me at that angle through the side. Which is unfortunate. It's not quite the same kind of bulletproof protection that the Kuruma can give you. So now it takes the front. And they generally have to get close before they're going to get in a good shot. I'm barely returning fire, and as you guys can see, it's doing pretty well. I am taking damage on my body armor there, but not too much. I think it was that... Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's some. So yeah, it's a little funny with the angles that they do damage to you with. Sniper started getting some penetration damage there. So now we've lost all our body armor. Just gonna back up and get us a little bit of body armor. We'll just watch that for any more damage. And these guys are using lots of automatics, not necessarily pistols and stuff like that, like a lot of the gangbangers quite often normally would. But a lot of this is the military style hardware on you, so a little bit more damage. Oh, I can't shoot that anyway. But he could hit me. So you're probably better off to just go racing around through here. As you guys see fit, I'm just kind of letting these guys do lots of damage so you guys can see just how tough it is. So he's got to be back here. New body armor again, but I think that's about it. Sometimes there's guys on the side, but they probably attacked us. No, oh, there's still this guy. Yeah, see, he's getting the odd shot through already. But we've taken a ton of shots. You can hear a rattle in the engine. It is a fully armored Duke, so you know, it is armored when you get it, but you also can buy additional armor for it, and I fully armored this one. But normally I would bet you can get through this mission with 1/5 this kind of damage, if that. But yeah, she certainly is a beast when it comes to that stuff, but I think the explosions are certainly its main feature, is that it can really take on lots of explosions, and it has good weight. It can push things like this Hummer around, no problem. Patriot. It's a great little bulldozer, I guess you could say. Just like the Kuruma. But the V12 shafter isn't so good at that. So that's that. Duke O'Death. Filled with holes. Look at that. That's a lot of holes. But yeah, it does look like they can hit you here and there through this. It looks like here and there they get a certain shot right through, and it does go through. Just unfortunate. So watch out for that, guys. Alright, now I'm going to get this plane out of here. Alright, lift off. That's much better than my last time. Alright. Okay guys, so here we are back in Steal the Titan. Back in Titan Have a Job. Yeah, where we steal the Titan. And you can see the back windows are missing, like is common with a lot of the missions you'll load up and heists. So I'm pretty sure that's all on purpose, to make sure it's not too overpowered. But that said, you know, you still only have to worry about this area. Okay, so let's go over there and have at these guys. Oh, switch to my AP pistol. Oh, I threw it again. It's too bad you can't go the other way. So annoying sometimes. There we go. Alright, so turn around like we did before. We shouldn't do it with this guy. But you can see I can actually shoot back there. Not very well, mind you. But I can. Whereas the Duke O'Death, you can't at all. Okay, so here we are going to face head on. And they're just pelting us. Look at that. Oh, there's a little bit of damage. I should probably turn Orbit over here. It's probably that sniper that's up in the up on the top rafter on the left. So maybe if we're over here, we'll see. Yep. So no real damage occurring anymore. He's trying to get around to my windows, see that? And these guys, and I can shoot up both sides, a much better arc. So I can shoot all the way like this. Little bits on the back. It's a little awkward back there. But a much better arc than the Duke O'Death gives you. Unfortunately.
Jesus!
Taking some damage now. There's a guy way up on there. Let's get some new body armor on. Our second one. Let's get rid of that sniper right there. Now normally I'd do this much better and sneakily keep my distance on, like I said before, letting them just have at me. So you guys can see the bullet resistance that we have with this. It's not perfect, but it is a very near perfect shield. Clean them up around the outside. probably the guy from the roof.
Take him down! God damn it, got away!
That's what happens when you don't look where you're driving.
Lay down some cover fire! Open your eyes! Lay down cover fire!
Yeah, the shooting arc on this is much better than the Kuruma. And I think that's all of them. And as you can see, I went through, what, 1 body armor? So, much less body armor than I had to in the Dukes. Now, like I said, though, I normally wouldn't let them get me like that. So, you know, you could probably do the mission in either car with only 1 set of body armor. Now you can see how it is also a plow. But I think it's actually got less push power than the Duke O'Death seems to have, to be honest. It does have some, though, but it doesn't move those Patriots as easily as the Duke O'Death does. It does move them, though. Many normal cars wouldn't stand a chance of doing this. Yeah, the Duke O'Death kind of does that stuff with ease. So we're just clearing the way out for Titan to come out. Alright, so that's the Armored Kuruma versus the Duke O'Death. Lots of holes. And still bullet resistant. Yeah, it stays that way until the end, as far as I know. Although eventually, when your car takes enough damage, you do start getting more and more damage through, though. Assuming the car hasn't blown up by then. Alright, let's get to our Duke O'Death. Red. Red. No. Oh, wrong pistol, but that's okay. We can fix that. Let's get inside. Alright everybody, so before I say goodbye, I thought I'd show a couple more of the armored vehicles that are available out there. And I don't think they're really special for any particular reason. This one here, I'm just playing some head-ender here. So this one here is the Armored Cognazetti, and there's a couple of variations you can get on it. Okay, like a bigger back on it. So it's kind of like a closest you can get in a sense to a limo that fits inside your garage. There is actually an armored limo. We'll get to that and we'll have a look at that in the description. But there is an actual armored limo, but it's a Pegasus vehicle, so you can't store it in your garage. And this one you actually can. To me, it's nothing really special as far as an armored vehicle, but it's more of a rich guy car than, say, the Shafter V12, which is more of a race car, if you ask me. More hitman. This is more rich guy. So, yeah. So that is the Armored Cognazetti in-game. One of these guys is a VIP, and he's going to have to die. Duke O'Death deals death. They didn't really do me any damage or anything there. But yeah, that's the advantage to being bulletproof in some ways, like the Kuruma or this one, as opposed to bullet-resistant glass, like the Cognazetti or the Armor V12. Yeah. Or the XL. Yeah, there's an XL one. We'll have a look at that in the before we go inside the web page here. Super Autos, I do believe. So, now we're coming up on my last target in the Headhunter here. And this one is an Armored Baller. So you can also buy that. So there it is right here. Armored Gallivanter Baller. Again, not much special to it. It's decent. Better price than the Insurgent. But in many ways, if you want a truck like this, you're probably better off to get the Insurgent than you are the heavy Insurgent than you are to get the Armored Baller, my opinion. But there's a Armored Baller in game. There we go. We got our target. They're very upset. Are they still in the car? They are still in the car. I think they get out and try to get me. Nope. Well, they deserve that. Had it coming. Alright, let's head back to the office. right. So that's a couple more of them. The Armored Baller and the Armored Cognoscenti. Let's have a look at the website here, guys. In Travel and Transport. And it would be legendary, I do believe. Alright. So, the only other armored vehicle you can get is the Benefactor XLS. Okay? Of the normal vehicles. So, and this one here, but again, nothing really special. It's your typical SUV. It's decent, you know. But again, if you're going to get this, you might as well get the Insurgent. But that's just my opinion, but some people like variety. And the Cognoscenti, so it's got a decent price, I guess. It's down here, there it is. And you can get that armored as well. And that's the rich guy car we just seen there. The clip there. And then you've got the Shafter V12. One of these would be a V12, so you want to pay attention to that if you're buying them. One of them is the regular one, which I believe is a V8, and the other one is a V12, which you probably want to buy the faster one. And then it's the fastest armored car in the game. So, yeah. Alright, now backing out of there for a moment. And of course the Baller's there too, which you can also get armored instead of the regular version. And there's two versions of it, which just has a different back on it. It's kind of like the Sand King has a extended cab version and a regular version. So that's the kind of differences. They're the same car with a just slightly different back. Anyway, let's have a look at Warstock Cash and Carry here. And the last real armored vehicle, I suppose you could say, would be for the regular vehicles would be this one here, the turreted limo. Okay. It's very expensive, normally 1.6 million. It's on sale right now, 25% off for 1.2 million. So if you're interested, you might want to get that now before that sale runs out, I believe on May 1st. That said, a lot of people are disappointed with this vehicle unless they patch it and upgrade it, which I'm not sure if they will. But it's just bullet-resistant windows. The gunner on this minigun, it has a minigun, which is awesome, but at the same time, your gunner on it is completely exposed. So, you know, it's a very vulnerable position to be in, not a very protected position. There's no back guard or anything like that. Not even held down in the seat a little bit, so your head's just sticking out. No, it's here. It's a lot of. It's pretty much half your body. So, as well, from what I remember, unless they fixed it, it has no bulletproof tires. So that's a dramatic, crippling thing for this. Is that just a single pistol shot, and you're crippling the vehicles. So they really should come by default with bulletproof tires. Now, hopefully they fix that sometime soon, but as of the last time I've heard about it, they do not have bulletproof tires, and you can't take it into the LS Custom shop because it's a Pegasus vehicle. Okay, so that's kind of unfortunate. So, and then there's the Insurgent that we were talking about earlier on, and this particular Insurgent with the gun on top, the pickup version, is also a Pegasus vehicle. Cannot fit into your garage, so only this one here. Yeah, and that's all the armored vehicles. Alright, so of the main ones, that's why we've got these ones. And I'm kind of happy with the Duke O'Death, how that worked out, because it still kind of gives a good balance in a sense, so I don't feel like I wasted my money at all. You know, the Armored V12 is probably not worth it anymore, but, you know, it's still the fastest armored car, so I'm still kind of happy with it. It's kind of nice. I like it. It's my first car. It's kind of mean. It's cool. Yeah. And the Insurgent, to me, is still one of the best trucks, especially for an armored truck. It's still one of the best. And I think great for off-roading and great for plowing other vehicles out of your way. And then, of course, you've got just to recap, again, I might have repeated this, but, you know, the Insurgent, I think, is probably the best for fighting all your missions and things like that against computer players, AI players. And then against actual players, real-life human players, I'd say the Duke O'Death. But if I had to give one all around as the best one, I'd say the Duke O'Death. But I'm biased because I like it. It's pretty cool. All right, everybody. Yeah, I'm the Missing Sock. Thanks for watching. It's a little bit of an armored car breakdown. And we'll see you again for the next one. If you're new here, you should subscribe. It's free and it really helps us out. And we'll see you again for the next one. Yeah, hopefully sometime soon. Yeah. Take care, everybody.